Hi, and welcome to A Course in Miracles Workbook for Students. We're on Lesson 54. I want to go back and read the introduction to these review lessons, just so that we keep in mind what we're actually doing here. It says we want to begin the day by reading the 5 ideas with their comments included. And then after that, it says it's not necessary to follow them in any particular order when we consider them, though we want to practice at least a couple of minutes on each one of these 5 ideas. And and we want to do this as often as possible throughout the day. And if it says if any of these 5 ideas that we're going to cover today appeals to you more than the others, then it's okay to spend more time on that one. But at the end of the day, it wants us to review all 5 of them one more time. And it also says that we should do after we read the ideas and their related comments, the idea exercise should be done with our eyes closed when we're alone in a quiet place, if this is possible. Sometimes it isn't really possible to do that. But when it is, if you're at work or something, you might want to I used to just find a quiet room and go, there happened to be one where I used to work, and I'd go there, or I'd go outside. Of course, you might be in a place where it's freezing and snowing right now. It says it, but it will be necessary, however, that you learn to require no special setting in which to apply what you have learned. So, if you're in a chaotic office space or a place where you can't get alone, that's okay too, because actually we want to be able to practice these lessons. That's the very places that we want to be able to remember these practices and apply them. So it says you will need your learning most in situations that appear to be upsetting rather than those that already seem to be calm and quiet. It says the purpose of your learning, here's the purpose of our learning these ideas, is to enable you to bring the quiet that we find in those really beautiful times of meditation in the perfect setting, but to bring that quiet with you and to heal distress and turmoil. And this is not done by avoiding those situations and seeking a haven or isolation for yourself. And so that's just one thing we want to just keep in mind, that the purpose of these lessons is to be able to bring them, the quiet, the healing, all that is happening inside of us, to bring it into our everyday lives. So let's get to lesson 54. Number 1, I have no neutral thoughts. Neutral thoughts are impossible because all thoughts have power. All of our thoughts have power. This might be a new idea for many of us, that your thoughts have power, and that no matter what they are, they're not neutral. They're creating the world that you're seeing, that you're experiencing. They will either make a false world or lead you to the real one. And that's what we want to do. We want to be led to the real world. Most of us have never even experienced the real world. but we're about to. And that's where the Course is taking us. Thoughts cannot be without their effects. As the world I see arises from my thinking errors, thinking thoughts of separation, produces a world that is separate, so will the real world rise before my eyes as I let my errors be corrected. My thoughts cannot be neither true nor false. They must be one or the other. What I see shows me what they are. So when we look out on the world, we are seeing our thoughts reflected back to us. And that's what the Course is trying to tell us. You might say, well, Micah, what do you mean? All this craziness I look out in the world, that's my thoughts? That's what the Course is saying. Yeah, it is. And that's hard. That's hard for some people, and even it's hard for the ego to accept, because the ego does not want us to know that our thoughts have this power. Because once we realize that we are creating the world, we also realize that we can let go, and that the ego and the false self and everything that it represents, the whole thought system will simply disappear. So the ego is fearful for its existence. It doesn't want us to know that we really have this kind of power, and it denies it to us. I see no neutral things. Remember, no neutral thoughts, no neutral things. What I see witnesses to what I think, and that's what we were just talking about. If I did not think, I would not exist. Because life is thought. Life is thought. Let me look on the world I see as the representation of my own state of mind. I know that my state of mind can change. And so, I also know that the world I see can change as well. Because we know our mind, our state of mind can change. Often it changes many times throughout the day. We also know, since our state of mind, our thoughts are producing what we see, or what we call the world, then we also know that it can change. There's a place in the Course where it says, seek not to change the world, but rather seek to change the way you see the world. I'm not sure if that's an exact quote, but basically that's, if you want to change the world, change the way that you perceive it. That's what the Course is telling us. And that's what we're going to see in these next few ideas too, that our thoughts don't just affect us, they affect the whole world and everybody else, because our minds are joined. I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing. I have no private thoughts. I cannot see a private world. Even the mad idea of separation had to be shared before it could form the basis of the world I see. Yet that sharing was a sharing of nothing. I can also call upon my real thoughts. And once we discover our real thoughts will also affect the world. We won't be alone in the effects of our real thoughts too. And so we're going to begin to call on our real thoughts. And I can also call upon my real thoughts, which share everything with everyone. As my thoughts of separation cause the separation thoughts in others, so my real thoughts awaken the real thoughts in them. And the world, my real thoughts show me, will dawn on their sight as well as mine. So you can be a world changer by changing your thoughts, because your thoughts and my thoughts are not private. We're one and we share the same mind. And this is saying that we can call on the real thoughts in another person. And I've seen this happen so much when you realize the power of your own thoughts, and you can, when you meet someone, a stranger or not a stranger, if you have this attitude of not expecting the worst in people, but you're going to call upon their real thoughts, their thoughts of love and oneness and unity, and thoughts that they think with God. And I've seen it happen over and over again. In an instant, people all of a sudden changing, because the Spirit in me was calling upon the real thoughts of the Spirit in them. Number 4 says, I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. The last one was the effects of my seeing. This one is, I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. I am alone in nothing. Everything I think or say or do teaches all of the universe. A son of God, and that's what we are. Or you can say, I'm a daughter of God. But this is a non-dualistic language. A son of God cannot think or speak or act in vain. He cannot be alone in anything. It is therefore in my power to change every mind along with mine. For mine is the power of God. Wow. That's incredible power. I mean, that's unlimited power. And if we could only believe this, there's some real division going on right now. And separation thoughts happening all over the world. Especially right here in this country. But this says we have the power to change every mind along with mine. And I'm not talking about changing people over to my political party or my favorite things that my candidates or whatever represent. Because that's still on the level of the ego. That's still on the level of seeing the separation and making it real. But I'm talking about when we really get in touch with our real thoughts and learn their power, we can call upon those thoughts and everyone in the whole world, it says, every mind. That's the power we have to bring every mind into unity and oneness and love and peace, and away from thoughts of attack, thoughts of anger, thoughts of hate, thoughts of jealousy, thoughts of specialness, thoughts of separation and lack, all these other thoughts that separate us and keep us poles apart. But we have the power, you and me, to change our own mind, and therefore that since I'm not alone in my thinking and the effects of my thinking, by changing my mind, I'm also changing every mind along with mine. It's a radical different way of approaching the problems of this world by looking inside and changing our mind first instead of trying to go around and change everybody else's mind. That's usually the way that it's done. But this is the total opposite. A lot of things in the Course are upside down thinking from the way that we're used to thinking along the lines of the ego. And last, I'm determined to see, recognizing the shared nature of my thoughts, which is what we've just been talking about. I am determined to see. I would look upon the witnesses that show me the thinking of the world has been changed. I would look upon the witnesses to show me that the thinking of the world has been changed. How has the thinking of the world been changed? Because it's changed in my mind. And because my mind, the nature of my thoughts are that they are shared with everyone else. And changing my mind, all minds are changed. And now I'm determined to see the witnesses of that change. I would behold the proof that what has been done through me has enabled love to replace fear. That's what we're looking for. Not someone to get on our side, but no, everywhere we look, love replacing fear, laughter replacing tears, abundance replacing loss. Those are the witnesses that we are determined to see. I would look upon the real world and let it teach me that my will and the will of God are one. Not that my will is becoming one with the will of God. No, it all, my true self, I am the will of God. It's always been one with God. And when I get in my right mind and I see my true thoughts, I will see that love has been able to replace fear, and that laughter replaces tears, and abundance replaces loss. So let's determine right here that we are going to see these witnesses today, in the now, not in the future, but right now, today, here. So have fun today. Bless you. Aloha. Aloha means I love you. Means also good day, goodbye. But it's kind of also a term that is like, if you ever heard of the greeting namaste, it means the light in me recognizes and loves the light in you. And that was what we're talking about, that common light. So the Hawaiian people understood that oneness, and that they have a term called ohana, which is family, and we're all family. We're all from the same source. And so that's what the word aloha means. So until tomorrow, I will see you then. Have a good one.